Hello and welcome back, everyone. Our core Java day 10. So today we're going to talk more advanced. We'll get into end. We'll talk about constructors and we'll also modify this. I'm sure this will take plenty of us to look at them conceptually and also as a more theoretical basis as to what it entails, where we can use it. Previously, we were talking classes, attributes, and methods, and we created a class for a bank account, and we added a few attributes: name, balance, and status. And methods: get balance, add balance, transfer balance. And let's see what we did in the program period. So this is the bank account. Let me close all first. Let's navigate through. If you notice, this is bankac.java. So by itself, it's a different class team, but it's breaking down the sequence of a program. Why? We can reuse this wherever we want. So we'll have different versions maybe of this. So I have bank AC, now I'll have bank AC2.java. What I'm going to do is I'm going to maybe advance this a further more. So see, when we're talking about that private information, let's say everything good, team. Oh man, voice is breaking. Anyone? Okay.
So team, back to a better audio line. Hope this improves what we're doing. So here's bank account. To any changes that we will do here, team. But let's talk about specific details about a user in a bank. So I'm going to create a new Java class, and let's say I'll call this as bank users. Okay. It won't have a main method by itself, just a users. I'm trying to talk about encapsulation here. The first one, how we go about using the private. So primarily, team, what we're trying to say is protect content visibility. I don't want everyone to see that, and it should go through only specifically using things. Team, everything good? Okay. Now, I want only based on, so grant access based on certain rules, and that's what we got to do. So let us say for this bank user, we have a string of variables: v name, v password, somewhere it has to be stored, right? V balance, all this. Now, there is no way we can view these. I don't want anyone else to view this, or even the user to view some of these information. Not the user, how do I say? It can only come out through something private. Let's say a social security number. Private string, I'll say SSN, B SSN. Now, to get that SSN, I will say a public class in this case. It will return a string and get SSN. And in this case, if true, now you can replace this with any condition that you want to put, APIs or the process passing through, or some result coming, some verification you put there instead of true. And here what we'll do is I'll return at this time the VSSN number. I won't be able to get that SSN number otherwise. Now, I'll also have to put another return here, VSSN. I'll just say VSSN plus not true. Something like this. Or here, actually, I'll say else. This is better. See, else. And maybe we're only talking about the last 4 digits, even that's fine too. Let me organize this code, it will be easy. Get SSN, return VSSN, else return you cannot see this. That should be fine. Now, here that's get SSN team. So now I can always do anything when it comes to this bank users. Why does it say this else remove including condition? Hey, because it's going to be true either way. So that's fine. Let's say int x comma y, x equals 10, y equals 20. I'm just checking team what it does. See, it knows always it's true. Then it's saying, why do I need to return anything? In this case, I'll say if x is less than y, then do this. And I'll save this. Now what I'll do is, I'll create a new main Java method. And this is going to be J31 underscore encapsulation main method. And let's not worry about these right now. So this is my main method. So in this, I want one bank user. So I'll say bank user B1 created. I'll say B1 equals new bank user. So at this point, I can start to access any information that I want from B1. I can say B1 dot balance equals 1000 and it sets it to it. That's the value. But B balance is actually a string. So then I'll put it into quotes. Great. So this is good. Now bank users, what else is there? I have password, balance, I have SSN also. So I can put a value into SSN, B1 dot V. See, you wouldn't see a way to be able to put the value into it. You cannot do this unless I get into the class and create one more method where I set that value. Okay. So here I'll say instead of get SSN, set SSN. So some condition that you'll make sure that it passes through, and based on that, I will not be returning. Actually, this doesn't even have condition. It will primarily say not return. Sorry, 1 second. I'll say this object dot VSSN now equals whatever I send FSSN in. So I will send an input string FSSN and this is void as of now. Set SSN string FSSN no return else. There's no else in this case. It's just else cannot set. I'll just say error hash SSL some number 148. So what I'm saying here, team, are you trying to get the point? It's a very important one. What is FSSN? Okay. So now I'll explain this. Bank users have a username, password, and balance. So there's a VSSN for the bank user. And get SSN is the only way that I can get the value for this private variable. And set SSN is the only way that which I can set a value in. So I cannot say B1 dot VSSN. I wouldn't see the private variable. But if I say B1 dot set SSN and pass 1, 2, 3, is it 4? I'm counting my 7, 3, 3, 4, plus 6, 10-digit number, right? SSN is 7890. Now I can say, if I say so, my account balance is plus B1 dot V balance. That would come. Everything good, team? I see a few chat messages. I'm coming to you. All good? 9 2-digit middle one. Which one? I'll come. 9, is it? Oh, 2-digit middle one, is it? Okay. You're right. Thank you. SSN. So 9-digit SSN. So if I say B1 dot V balance, that is good. I can get that value T. Now, if I want the SSN number to be printed, I can't say B1 dot VSSN T. I cannot. There is that variable is private for me. The only way I can do is by using B1 dot get SSN, which has to have a specific clause. And even here, I will say if user is qualified or admin is qualified, then we're doing. I'm not writing any condition, but just saying as an example. Now, in this case, I can get that value. So here, my SSN number. Let's hope it works, team. Let's save these first. So I click on J31, run as Java application. Not bad, see, team. So that's the only way I'm able to do that. Unlike a regular variable that is there inside my class, basically my class attributes, the private one basically says based on certain rules, and you can do the get SSN only way to access content, only way to set content. The roads are empty and I'm seeing a lot of loud throttling going around the stage and honking as well. And then cop sirens after that chasing them and giving them tickets. Let's stay home, team. You know, on a very side note, I've been doing the online training for a long time every month. And it sometimes gets on to you as to are you doing something good while everyone is going to the workplaces and actually doing physical. So I used to work from home. And then now when I really look at how the world is, I feel there should be a great balance between how we can balance to work from home and also from the workplaces and so on. It just gives a different perspective, team. I'm not very proud that I'm in e-learning and it's some businesses which won't get affected. Every business is getting affected, team. Does that what I'm doing as an operation is not getting affected, and I'm glad about that. Hopefully, there are few things that I'm coming up with. Let's hope for the best. A few more training teams will get you certifications and so on. Okay, back to our class. Ting, 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 ting. So I created this user, and this user, the only way, and basically the same thing I can write here. Only way to set content and only way to get content. And these are private teams. The methods itself within the class bank users. So remember, bank users have 4 attributes: vname, vpassword, vbalance, and a private called SSN. And the private SSN variables or data can only be accessed through these functions. The functions can be public. So that's the big advantage of what we call as encapsulation, where we are encapsulating our data inside methods. So you cannot access just as a variable. You have to call a method. So if I say b1.username, it will give me by default every time, correct? But if I want it to be based on a logic, oh, you know what? Why should I give you full SSN? I'll only give you the last 4. Why should I confirm? You confirm. So lot of options there that come up to us. All right. Now what next? Let's talk about constructors. I thought I'll talk about access modifiers first, but that's fine. Any questions on encapsulation, please? So in the same one, bank users, if I create, and if it's okay, team, I'll save this as bank users2.java, and I'll also call this as bank users2 when I create the class. Shouldn't be any code errors now. So in the same one, team, I'll create a class, another method called public. This is a constructor. Constructor, yeah, correct. I was thinking why it still had a. So I'll say public and just my name of my class, bank users 2, open brackets, close brackets. Now inside this, let us say that you need to make a initial deposit of $500 to open an account, and then I'll say print deposit made, and then what I will do, I will say this dot. Actually, I don't even need to say this dot. I can just say v balance in this case equals 500. So now what happens, team? Look at this. If I go J31 and new class J32 constructor, hit. Sorry, I was thinking, yeah, spelling correction. So I'll have a main method in this. In this, I'll create some objects with that. So I'll say bank users 2 B2. Okay. Now, if I say B2 dot V balance, what would it have been? B2 equals new bank users 2. That is when the memory assignment is being done. Now see B2 dot B balance. Now the same thing if I say B2 dot B what do you have? B2 dot B name, then B balance, and then B dot password. Let us say password also I'm displaying. Okay. I'm hoping that you're all repeating these things, team, at your end, each and everything that we are doing, because that's the only way we can actually be able to practice hands-on, everyone. So now we are trying to see what happens at this time. So if I execute J32 underscore constructor, what did I do in bank users 2? With the same name, I created a method. And there's no declaration of if it's static or something, it doesn't return anything. The fact is, whenever I create an object, that method will get executed and the balance will get created into it. So let's see. Now if I run this, hopefully, oh, there you go. Name, nothing. Balance is 500. Password is nothing. When it's nothing, null. And so every user I could set like that and say, you know what, even if I have a new user called B3, the initial balance has to be this. Now you can do the same thing for that initial password for all of your accounts have to be this. You could create and construct your class in such a way that when your object is getting created, you can do a bunch of operations. So let us say I also set now vPassword equals $123 by default. And I rerun my constructors.java right now. Why did I do B3? Okay, that's fine. B3 is correct. So both got created. Now see 500 password is set. Why? Because we use a constructor. For that method, when we create an object for the class, the same name method will get called. Questions anyone on this? That's encapsulation and these are constructors, everyone. Any questions, team? I think we're moving fast. That's why I'm little making sure you're getting the concept. So just to summarize, your encapsulation is protecting your data by which you can only, where did I give that? In the same one, I think. Get the data from a public method inside the class or set the data by using this dot, the private, in a public method in the same. All right, everyone? Okay. Now I'm thinking, what example do I take for access modifier? These are all just math operators. We did some palindrome. Team, anyone worked on this? Thought I gave an assignment. I should actually stop and start giving assignments a lot of it now. Okay. What's the question? Okay, did not understand constructor. Let me explain. And I just want to make sure that we are able to understand some information. Okay, where are we? Constructors. So what is constructor is very simple. When this bank uses B2 equals new bank uses 2 gets created, your data will be set based on, or you can run certain actions. The name of the class, look at the class name, and the name of the method is the same. There are no parameters or arguments that we're sending into it. It will set the balance to default. It will set the password to a default value. So whenever I call that, it will do that. So let's say line 6, I put a breakpoint, and we do a debug run. Where am I? Okay, I hit this debug. So I'm going to step into it, team. What will happen now? My icons are so small. Come on. It went too deep. Make it come on. So many things. It's running. There we go. Now we've gone into this. I should have put a breakpoint even here. So breakpoint. It's time. And now what has happened is, by this time, the object called B2 has a balance that has been created by default and a password also created. And your SSN is null and it is private. It can be only, you can create method to access that private data. So your constructor is assigning default values. Values to your object. All right. Everyone. Okay. So let's stop this test now and run. And go back to our regular Java mode. I'm going to create a new thing first. J33 underscore access modifier. So there's a bunch of them, team, we'll get to, but it is all about how we access them. Now let us say I create a class called math. No main method in it. I will have a public int int x, comma int y. All right. Now, what happened? I will. So this one will basically return x plus y. As simple as that. Nothing complex about it. And let's say I want to subtract it. Minus y. Now this class, how do I access it from the main method here? Yes, I can by saying math m1 equals m1 new math. I created an object here now. Then I can say m1 dot add 10, 20. It's going to print me that result. Actually, the print statement team, I'm going to put it inside math.java. It will also return, it will also print. So either one, what we want to use. I'm not collecting its return. It's anyway going to do that. So 1020, then same thing 1020 and say dot m1 dot subtract. That's the other method. See, you would see the methods getting listed in, and that's a great guidance that Eclipse gives us. Now, if I run this code, 30 and minus 10. So that's perfect. That's what we expected, and we received that. So my code works good. But now, if I want to do another one, each time, or you have to create an objective. Not that it is necessary, but if I just have methods to run, why should I create an object? And that is where static comes. So once you say static here, and in a J33 now, I don't need all of this. I can just say math dot add. So I don't need to create an object for it. So static means even without an object, I am able to run a method on that. So if I say 20, 30, and in fact, I have to also say at the end m1 equals to null, just to make sure, I'm not using that anymore. Why do you think there is this line 6 and 7 at this point has a warning or some kind of a message back to us, team? You're saying it is static. Why do you need to create an object for it? Maybe. Let us see. Let's take our mouse. See, it says change act. The static method add from the type method should be accessed in a static way. Should be accessed. It doesn't have to be belonging to an object team. That's all that's saying. I don't have the same issue here. Now, if you go back to math.java at this point and remove this word static, and now you go to J33, it'll say, okay, this is fine now because it's not a static function. You can only access it through an object now. And math.add, math.subtract won't work anymore. So we have a class. Okay, a class is like a blueprint. Basically says what are the attributes, what are the methods. Attributes are nothing but the properties that define that object, and methods are what you can do on that object, actions that you can perform. Right? Now, when you take an object one out of it, you are able to execute all those actions and access all those properties. If it's encapsulated, you know how to access it, and you also know how we can use a constructor method to give default values. But in this case, what is happening right now is I don't want to create an object each time, team. There are just methods, a list of methods. They belong to the class, but I don't want it to be object based. So I don't have to create an object first. And that's the whole point about it. So anything like math operators or simple calculators that we are creating, I don't need to keep on adding objects for it. I can just say it's a static method, and that's good. Now that's about static T in terms of what a method. Now let's talk about static as a value. How can I example static as a value? Okay, maybe bank itself, new bank. Bank organization. So at the end of it, there's bank account, one class, bank users, one class. There's one for bank organization also. When I can have a public bank or as a constructor method for it and say creating a new bank. Okay. Now in this bank, let us say I have few variables: string, v bank name, v bank address. That's one set. In the same, I have v user name, v user v balance. I'll say. Okay. Now I can always have methods which I can say public. What am I trying to do? Static. Okay. And void add balance. Just one method for now. See how many times I'm repeating the same code, similar small code, starting with small code and then showing you. Please do the same thing because it will really help adding through old value. Let's make sure since we are adding this way. Come on. String v username is good. This let it be a double v balance. And say v balance equals plus equals double amount that we are adding. Okay, so that's my another thing. So now what I could do, why J33 access modifiers? I thought I saved this static. If I save this, okay, see, the error is gone because now it's made static. Okay, now back to this new class called bank organization. I have bank name, bank address, username, balance, and so on. Now, what I'm trying to say here is how do I mention what can we find? That's private. I'm little thinking about it. So let me start working. It'll be easy. So J34 now underscore again it is access modifier. A main method, yes, finish. If you write these 35 programs like I did, don't you think you'll get a little comfortable in Java? Every day do this thing. Nice programming language. Been there for a while. Okay. Sorry. Am I audible, everyone? Everyone with me? I'm trying to create this bank organization showing what we could do with maybe final, but before that, static as a data key. So which data can I keep static? Let me show you the problem. The problem is who can access what data. So now let us say, if I say bank org B, or I'll say O1 equals new bank org, and I'm not giving anything into the creation itself. But for class constructors, we can add the arguments as parameters. I'm saying O1 dot B balance equals double right 500.0. O1 dot B bank name equals BOA. O1 dot bank address equals equal to ABC link. Now the problem here is, and one of the users, actually I'll just say user in this, created a balance, who has a name, bank has a name. What is that the user has? U1 dot B username equals, let's say KK. Now I'm there. I put $500 into my Bank of America account. Okay, and this is the address for it. O1 dot U1 dot B bank address is so. Now what has happened, team? I've got all this data and I can print all of U1 dot B balance, and let's just do this. And name, and then U1 dot B bank address. So now what is happening here, team, is for the class called bank organization, I created an object U1. In that, I am a user one in this organization. I have my balance, I have my username. I also know my bank name, I also know my bank address, and I'm setting it here. Now this is good. So if I run this, I get my details. Okay, this is what it is. Now the same thing, look at this. Another user is able to create their own content and says, okay, here's U1, this is U2 data now. But this has gone to city, and this is, let's say, city, and put $1,500 there. The address also is changed to ABC link. Now look at this, team. Any user is able to come in and change that information. That cannot be changed by anyone else. So that data has to be there in my protection here. So I'll go to my bank org here and say my bank name and this bank address are going to be final thing. You cannot change them. What did I do? Final, but I have to put values into it first. And at any time this goes through a change, then it has to be done at this code level, but not at a user level. So address is 123 ABC. Users cannot change this access. So final string v bank at. Now if you go here, you'll notice that you cannot do this. Cannot change final attribute from object. Okay, so an object that is there, it cannot do that. So you have to be able to do it externally. And the same goes here. So that's our protection. But my address, I can access it always. I can always access it as long as it is there. So printing that address is not a problem. What is the address of the bank? The issue will be to putting information into it. So if it's a final, you cannot put data into it as one of the objects. It is set at the class level. So let me repeat once again. A user in this bank has access to change his username or balance maybe. Okay. But he does not or she does not have an access to change the bank name or bank address. But any user may want to print or get that information in what is the bank name and what is the address. So how do they get it? They use finality for that. And only a code level who has access to that specific bank or class, maybe in a different package altogether, will be able to edit it for us. So that data cannot be changed. I can change it here. I cannot change it there. And then I can go here and run them. It will tell me what is there, but it will have the same content for every user. That's your final attribute to any data. Now, what is important to know is something. I'm just trying to think of an idea for static attribute. J35 underscore. Long name, sorry. Okay. Let me tell the concept team if I can. Okay. So let us say I create a class. I'll say a static class something, name class one. Nothing in this. So if I say public static class one, that's a constructor. And a simple constructor I'm keeping is it class created, or rather object created when we take object out of it. So in here I can immediately say static class one equals sc equals new static class. Isn't that the name? Static class one. Yeah. Okay, good. So now in this team, if I create variable int x, I can access that value from anywhere. So here I can say sc.x equals, let me put sc1 here too, sc1 equals 10 and so sc1 dot x. What is the value? Now let's run this code. It's running J35. Object created and the value is 10. Good. Now I create another object P. And in this I'll say sc2 and sc2.x equals to 100. So if I say sc2.x, then I would have the value for it. So object created with 10, object created with 100. Now what happens is, if I mention that this is static, okay, and I rerun the code, it will work as is. But if I run this code, what am I doing? Okay, so this is good. But if I, let's say, is 100, right? Now see, I can also say static class 1 dot x, since it's a static variable t. Let me create another variable called int y. So if I go here and I say static class 1 dot, I won't see y here. I will see y here only if there's an object. So here I can see sc1 dot y equals 20, and I can print that value. Okay, see the difference between x and y. X is static now, y is not, and this is going to be pretty interesting. What will you get out of it? sc2 dot y. sc2 dot y equals 50, whatever. Okay, 200. Now team, just focus on this team. So static, if I say sc2 dot, I can see both x and y here. Both I can use because it's based on an object. But if I want some data to be belonging, when you want data to belong to a class, then you make it static. I'll explain to you simple example. So static class 1 dot x equals 1, 2, 3. Now static class 1 dot y I cannot access non-static from without creating an object. Let me repeat this to you. It's a very important concept. Look at the static class. I have two variables, int x, int y. Only difference, x is static, y is not. And only one declared one object created for the class concern. Now in my J35 access modifier static attribute, I created one object called sc1. It belongs to the class. So sc1, I can set x and y. I'm printing x and y. Very good. Another object sc2. I'm printing x and y. I'm printing x and y. Very good. Now, if I say static class1 dot x, so let's just print this as is t. It will print the content 10, 20, 100, 30. Now I changed 1, 2, 3. I'm going to print this statement again. sc1 dot x and sc2 dot x. Now what should be the last print statement team after this? X for sc1 is 10, x for sc2 is 100. So it should print 10 here and 100 here. But now that I put line 16, what happens? Let us see. It said for even that object, it changed. So a simpler example for you to maybe understand this is, let's say there's a WhatsApp group. This group would have a name field. One of the admin changes it, then everyone else will be able to see the same name. Okay. And let us say, so where do I put this? Do I need a method? No, I'll just say, yeah, public WhatsApp group. And here I'll just print, so group created. Okay. What's the other? Oh, sorry. Now, to change the name of the group, I don't need a method or anything because it is static. It is static to that group. So if anyone can change. Final, only at a code level you can change. Okay. Regularly you can access it and change as you want. But now see, even if I have, what's that group? Let's do one method. Public void send broadcast string s1, and I'll say so send broadcast plus s1. Okay. So if I create now J36, in few more minutes and then we'll be good. Please go back and review this. I hope it'll clear a lot of things. If I, and now I have a WhatsApp group. So I'll say in this that there is a WhatsApp group. And broadcast. Group name from and I'm just saying everyone is admin. I'll just hello friends, then making all admin here. And see, I'm having to use this. If I made it as a static method, I didn't even need an object, but it's fine. We need this for a specific reason. Changing a group name from my WA. So what's my group name right now? Let's put a default name here. And say from now I'll say my WA dot, what is that value? Rename equals old school. So now everyone in this group, anyone who creates or joins this group, for example, will have the same thing. So my WhatsApp A1, now if I say my WA1 dot rename at this time, because it's already set, we'll know what it is coming out to. So and we're gonna print this value. Okay. Now someone else is again changing. Let's say in this case, this guy is changed. My WA1, user 1, let us say. My WhatsApp 1, my WhatsApp. rechanging to new school. So now when the object gets created, it says group created. Okay. Now, but each time I don't want the group to get created when I'm creating the object. So that's no good. But that's the print statement as of now. A constructor for this is a bad example. If a constructor, then it has to be good, where I have to send the details for it. So I don't need a constructor for it. Okay. Send broadcast is there. That's the call to method inside it, and that's good. So let's see. Created an object, sending broadcast value of my WA, setting that or 18. Send broadcast dot B name. Observe team. Here also dot B name. WA1 dot B name. Programming. Send broadcast hello friends, making an all admin, changing a group admin from WA default. That's the default team. Changing a group admin group name to old school. So now it's old school. That's what we've set it to. And now sending broadcast again, rechanging a group name from old school to new school. So it is applicable to any object team. So if I just create a new object now, the default values also won't play for it. So I say WA2 and say WA2 dot B name. That name remains constant for every object. So static attribute can be changed by any object. Static attribute will have the value of the latest change. So remains constant for all objects. Clear, everyone? As a concept of how we are talking about access modifiers, we spoke a little bit about static methods, I think, here. And then we went through a few things, team, a lot of things. Best is to go back to the video and look into this again. Any questions, please? Any technical issues practicing? I hope to do another 3-4 sessions, team, and finish up with our core Java. Okay, team. So I'll see you all back tomorrow then. Take care. Have a great evening. Bye all.